Today, I have the pleasure of speaking in person with Bill Platt, who actually only lives about an hour and a half from here. But I've never been up to Ponca City yet. One of these days, I'd like to come up there and visit with you, but whenever that becomes convenient for the both of us.
Yeah.
I've been following Bill Platt for, I guess a couple of years now. I actually bought a product that he was promoting, having to do with coloring books, and that was an actually pretty neat idea.
Yes.
I have yet to actually try it. I did do some things similar to that that were in the same vein. I did some of those dot grid journals.
Yes. Yes.
And that actually worked out okay. Didn't make a lot of money off of it, but I think given the right kind of marketing, I could probably do a little bit better.
Yeah.
But Bill has been an affiliate marketer for a while, and if I'm not mistaken, you actually have some of your own products now.
Yes, I do.
Anyway, I'd like you to go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit more in depth. Tell us basically what you're into and what your current business model is.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, so I got started online around 2000, and for the first 10 years or so, I offered services. So in the beginning, I was doing ghostwriting, then I started doing article syndication, then I did SEO for a bit, and then I returned back to the ghostwriting. And then in 2011, I kind of made the shift from doing services for other people to doing training and product creation and writing books. And so in the last several years, since about 2011, I've been doing the affiliate marketing, and I've been developing my own products, and I've already, in the last 8 years or so, I've produced over 100 products. And a lot of it has to do, in the early stages, I was doing like internet marketing and offline marketing, but around 2013, 2014, I made a full hard shift to book publishing. Because down deep inside, I'm a writer at heart, and that's what I enjoy doing. And so over the last few years, I've taught people how to write better nonfiction, how to write more quickly, how to promote their books. In 2015, I got into the coloring books. In 2017, I got into the journals. So right now, I'm real hardcore into the journals. All told, I have over 700 books on Amazon. Most of them are journals, but I do have quite a few other books as well, content type nonfiction.
So the books that you have are mostly what you call low content books?
Yes, as far as what's on Amazon, most of them are low content books. Yes.
Now about this teaching people how to write better, that sounds like something I could use.
Yes, it probably is. I'm in the process right now of converting a lot of my PDF products to Amazon. I'm putting a lot of them up on CreateSpace's hardback book or paperback books. 72-hour nonfiction should be on Amazon by Monday.
72-hour nonfiction?
Yeah, 72.
I'll make a note of that.
Books. And it's probably one of my better products over the years. And I will also, at the same time, have hypnotic book descriptions available for sale on Amazon.
And these are all your products, right?
Yes.
Hypnotic book descriptions?
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, I might email you later and get some actual links from you to actually show that and include that here in the show notes.
Okay, sounds good.
Descriptions. Yeah, you're doing some things I wasn't aware of. Basically, I just follow your emails. I'm on your mailing list, and I'm getting lots of interesting stuff from you. I haven't bought anything recently, but
So I have my mailing list basically broke down into 3 sections, or 4 sections. So I've got fiction, nonfiction, then activity books, which is mostly coloring books, and I mix the journal information with that, and then I have I send out different mailings on book promotion.
now you still have a product for teaching people how to do coloring books.
Yes, I do. It's at coloringbookprofits.com.
Aha. Okay, yeah, I'll go ahead and stick that in there also. So you teach people. Now, how does how is your adult coloring book business going?
Well, as far as that goes, it's kind of a hit and miss. It's a strange story that goes along with that particular product. I didn't create the product. I bought out the rights for the product. Basically, a buddy of mine came out with the product, and there's one of the big wig gurus online who accused him of stealing his product.
Mm-hmm.
And so my friend got kind of cowered down in the corner and took the product offline. I'm like, dude, it's not the same product. Put it back online. And he wouldn't do it, so I bought him out. And that's how I got into the coloring book. So I had to do catch up. I do have about a dozen coloring books on Amazon right now. I do most of my sales during the Christmas season. As far as the coloring books to go.
That makes sense.
Yes. And with the journals, everything we do online, no matter what it is I do, everything seems to be seasonal. So there are certain times of the year where different types of products sell. So in the training area, the worst month of the year is October. So October, and I know that because it's my birthday, and I'm always broke on my birthday. So, so I know historically October's always been poor sales for my training stuff. However, the books that we put up on Amazon that have a giftable nature to them, something that somebody might buy somebody as a gift, those items start taking off in late September, early October. And so sales start picking up in late September and consistently grow month over month over month. And then it hits its peak in December, but January is still strong.
Interesting. Why would somebody buy a coloring book, an adult coloring book?
Well, as far as the adult coloring book, the audience for that, and that's a lot of what I teach everybody in most of my training, is understand your target audience. If you understand your target audience, you can give them what they want, and you can actually get people to buy what you're selling. So with the adult coloring book, there's actually 2 or 3 different markets there. One is the children, the teenagers who want something that's more advanced than the coloring books that you have as children. Most of them are adults, 40 to 55 years of age, female. Their kids are grown, and they need something to keep their minds active. And then the third group is people who are going through some kind of psychological counseling. And that's how it actually got started. People, doctors start diagnosing people with like ADHD or anxiety and prescribing the coloring books to address that problem.
Really?
Yes.
That's fascinating.
Yes. So what I recommend to people is like with the coloring books, the thing with all the books we put up on Amazon, we're literally throwing stuff against the wall. We don't know what people are going to want to buy. We have an inclination, we have an idea of what kind of books people will want to buy, but we don't know exactly what they'll want to buy. So we put a lot of books out there and let people find us and let them show us what they want to buy. So with the coloring books, the way we approach that is sometimes on the book description we target this will help you with your anxiety and help calm your mind. And then we'll put up another set of books that is targeting the woman who has teenagers at home who they're in school and she can't work yet because the kids are still at home. And so it may be late 30s, early 40s, and we would target her if you've got extra time on your hand and you're trying to fill the day and you want something fun and entertaining to do with your time while being productive and creative, the coloring book is ideal for you.
Maybe a little bit cheaper than knitting or something.
Oh yeah, it's definitely cheaper. And the interesting thing is the women who just go hog wild on coloring books, and believe it or not, there's a lot of them out there where they will typically buy one coloring book a week. So
Really?
they will buy and color 52 coloring books a year.
Goodness.
Yes. So those.
I assume that you're not the only person in that space right now.
No, I'm not. I'm not. So the thing with the people who, it's sort of like an addiction. I used to smoke cigarettes, so I went through 10 packs a week, and I couldn't put the cigarette down because I was addicted to it. Well, the same thing is with a lot of these ladies who do coloring books. They're flat addicted to the feeling they get from the finished design. Now, it's interesting. If you go to Facebook, you can find all these coloring groups that are basically for what they call themselves colorists. So
Colorists.
yes. So you go find these groups that cater to the colorist, and you'll discover that a lot of these ladies, it's like a adrenaline rush for them to color a design in a book and screenshot it and upload it to Facebook so they can brag and show all their friends how awesome they are with their creative genius.
Well, I'm sure that kind of addiction is much better for you than cigarettes.
Oh, yes, I'm sure it is, too. And the thing that is odd about that, you, as an author, it just kind of blows you away because somebody's taken that image from your book, they've colored it, they posted it online, and now they're saying, look what I designed. Well, you didn't design it, you just colored it. We designed it, you colored it, but for them, it's a sense of ownership. They own that coloring design, and some of them, and there's actually a more higher end market if you want to get into it, where if you put your coloring designs on like a canvas and send it out, wall art canvas, and you send it out and let them paint it at home, they can hang it on the wall.
So you have a supplier who does the canvas like the coloring book stuff?
There are a lot of them out there. The canvas generally is quite a bit more expensive than a book.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to have a design put together and mailed out, print on demand, depending on where you buy it, could be anywhere from $20 to $45 just for the print.
Mm.
However, if you are a little bit more clever and want to do a little bit more yourself, you can buy the canvas, the blank canvas, at Dollar General for $3, and then do like a screen print on the canvas, and then you can still, since canvas are typically a lot more expensive, you can make a lot more profit from it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Yes.
Of course, to do screen printing, you have to know a little bit about how that's done.
Yes.
You have to get it set up. So,
and I've done that, and I don't recommend it to the average person. But it really comes down to what you're willing to do to get to where you want to go. It's just a matter of picking your audience and going for it. Now, I did know a lady, she passed away earlier this year, who went to, what she did, she bought the canvases, the blanks, and then she like did a light layover with soft gray lines on those canvases, and then she went around here in Oklahoma. It's called Booze and Brushes. And she would go to a different city every night for a month. And in each of those cities, she would have a party where they'd sit around and get drunk and paint. And so she would go into, when she came in the Ponca, there's usually 40 or 50 women sitting around getting drunk, painting their designs. And again, it comes down to that sense of pride of ownership when they're done. In fact, I have 2 designs on my wall. In fact, I'll turn around and let you see. There they are.
Uh-huh.
So those were designs that were done by my wife. And that's how I knew about the woman. But my wife and all of her friends were involved in that.
Mm-hmm. Now, I understand that you've actually been through some fairly rough times now, but you're now full-time internet marketer. Is that correct?
Yes, I've been full-time since 2005.
Ah, and what are your long-term plans? How are you planning to grow your business?
Well, right now I'm on 2-tier track. We're actually 2.5-tier track. So I still do the training side for authors, and I do services for authors as well. Not really services in the sense that you think about. I'm not doing stuff for you per se, but I provide membership services where I give you, like, I've got like 2 or 3 different coloring product memberships where you subscribe on a monthly basis, and excuse me, I or one of my partners will provide PLR artwork that you can use within your coloring books.
Mm-hmm.
And typically we recommend always on the artwork side, the PLR artwork side, Amazon really cannot look at image and tell what's inside that image. What they do is they rely on their customers to inform them of 2 people using the same image. So we recommend you don't even put yourself in that position, and you take the images we provide and set one of them up as a transparency and overlay it on top of another to make something completely new.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing that, then you can have completely unique coloring designs that nobody else has but you.
Ah, yeah, my wife actually does something very similar to that to make ebook covers.
Yes. Yeah, so it's basically templates. So we do the same thing with coloring books, and we also do it with the journals. And in the journals, we run that off of bookadaysystem.com. And the basic premise of bookadaysystem.com is that we'll give you the basic training you need, and then every month we will give you templates that you can use to design your own books. And so sometimes it's just blank lines on a page, and sometimes it's more complex than that. And then you can take the designs that we give to you and combine them in any fashion you want inside that book. And then you can turn around and sell the journal on Amazon as your own. And there are no restrictions on use once you get the resources from us.
Now, Book a Day Systems?
System.
Is that with apostrophes or anything?
No hyphens.
No hyphens.
It's all one word.
I see it right there.
Yes.
And is that yours, or do you have an affiliate account with them, or what?
No, that's mine, and I run that with Hauser.
Ah.
For $30 a month, basically $29.95 a month, you can gain access to the membership area and be able to download the templates we make available each month.
Uh-huh. Okay. Yeah, I brought that up on my browser there.
Yeah.
And we'll go ahead and publish that as well. And then, no, I, as you can tell with the gray in my beard, I'm looking at retirement here in a couple more years.
Yes.
And I'll probably be going more full-time into internet marketing and various things. I do affiliate marketing.
Right.
But what are you planning long-term?
Okay, so I'm sticking with the membership sites. We're also doing coaching and stuff along those lines. And at the same time that I'm doing that, I'm throwing as much as I can against the wall on Amazon. So I've got nonfiction books, I got coloring books, I got journals, and pretty much that's the direction I'm going, is to build up my inventory of books on Amazon.
Mm-hmm. And that's good passive income.
Oh yes, yes. So some of my customers, this has been a long-term thing, ongoing thing that over years, and sometimes I kick myself when I see this happening, but some of my customers will take what they learn from me and then do things with it that I never dreamed of doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, one of the first ones was, bear with me just a second here. One of the first ones was a few years ago, I came out with a product about doing local SEO. Now, I had done local SEO, and at my peak, I was doing about 40,000 a month in gross. And I got out of that because, to be frank with you, Amazon's changing their algorithm every Thursday afternoon, and it just drove me nuts. So I just got completely out of the SEO business. But one of the first trainings I developed was called 12-month local SEO. It's not available anymore as far as I know. And one of my customers took off on that. Now, the odd thing on that particular product release, like 400 or 500 people bought the product, and then 50 people said it could never be done. It would never ever work. And about a dozen people actually took action on what they learned, which is kind of typical, you know. It breaks down about 1-2% take action on what they learned. Everybody else pats themselves on the back that they know what to do in case they need to do it. And so, and then another percentage of them will say, well, it can never be done, you know. But the one guy took the training, and he went out, and it's funny because we were having a conversation, and he says, yeah, I bought this training from you, and my thought was, I like my job. I didn't want to quit my job. I just wanted to make an extra $1,000 a month, and I figured your product could help me do that. And he said, so he got the training, and it required some door-to-door sales. And he went out and he talked to local businesses, and he talked to 7 or 8 local businesses, and then he came back, and like a week later, the phone started ringing. And he told me the first time I talked to him, he says, I don't know what to do because you said that I could make $2,000 a month doing this, and my first customer signed a agreement for $18,000 a month. Yeah. And he says, I don't know whether I'll just try to hang on to my job and do this on the side, or whether I'll just keep doing just to replace my job. And then he called me back about a week later, and he says, dude, you'll never believe it. He had picked up 4 clients, and he was doing $42,000 a month in gross sales. And he was still on that fence. He didn't know whether he was going to quit his job or not. So that happens sometimes, and that happens even with the books. So with the coloring books, there are some of my customers, I've got 12 coloring books. Some of my customers have 300 or 400 coloring books. And so they see more sales from their coloring books than I see from mine. And then the same thing started happening with the journals. And so right now I've got 700 journals. It's actually 675 journals on Amazon. I got 500 more prepped up, ready to go, ready to upload. So I'll be at like 1,100 units here in just a few weeks as soon as I get the time to upload them all. And I've got other customers. One guy signed on, and he'd been buying my stuff for years. And he created 125 journals his first week. And then he created 125 journals the second week. And that was last November. By the end of December, I had a testimonial from him. They made $2,200 over Christmas. Yeah. So I've got another customer who did 300 in her first week. And I haven't heard back from her exactly how much she's earned as a result of that. But then I've got other customers who have 2,000 books on Amazon and 3,000 books and 5,000 books. And then the one guy who just makes me feel really stupid, he's got 31,000 books on Amazon. So my thinking is, I just pull my head out of my ass to do a little bit more of that. So I make 80% of my income from my training, and I do really well with my training, but at the same time, that 20% comes from my book publishing, and I just need to step up the game. I just need to do more of what I already know how to do. And it always works out that way, doesn't it? That we know the right thing to do, we just got to do it.
Your training stuff is not really passive, because when you stop doing it, the income stops.
Right.
But your books,
yes,
those will last for a long time.
Yes. So with the training stuff, the actual, now 90% of what I produce has a shelf life of about 4 weeks. And then the membership programs, the average subscriber stays with the program about 6 months, and then they drop off. And then with some of my higher-end coaching, people stay in for a long time. And then, like with the book a day system, that particular system, our longevity is a lot longer with that membership program than with any other. But then I've got a product called Coloring Book Profits, the one you purchased, that it's got a shelf life of 2.5 years, because I released it 2.5 years ago, and I still make money from it every month.
Well, looks like I need to get busy and make some coloring books.
Yes, yes.
Well, it has been a pleasure finally getting to talk with you directly after we've been back and forth on Facebook and I've been on your mailing list. Anyway, I've really enjoyed this thing. We've gone a little bit longer than I intended to, so I'm going to let you get back to your business there and actually make some money.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you very much, Bill.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.